Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Would you believe it? It's another emergency video here on the channel because lots of announcements have just gone down. Not only have Los Angeles Guerrillas just confirmed their team, London have released Afro, you can already see that one on the screen, but also a leak has come out with regard to the potential format for next season's CDL. Some good, some bad, maybe some things they still need to change. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much. Of course. Indeed, for doing that one, let's just crack straight on with things. London say, today we say goodbye to Afro. This, of course, expected, right? At this point, we thought Afro was going to leave. We think he's going to go to the Minnesota Rocker to join Cammy, Attach, and Bance. This still, though, is a bit of an L for the Ravens, right? People are kind of split on Afro, whether they actually think he's a superstar level potential player or whether he's just kind of inconsistent. I think he was honestly both at times this season, but this guy's impressed me massively in terms of his ceiling since he's been in the CDL. I feel like with a new kind of a direction, new team, with a high potential ceiling maybe, then he can be a real superstar player. Looking forward to seeing his future and hopefully seeing him kind of exemplify what I've been, well, talking him up the last couple of seasons really. So yes, Ravens let him go. I do think this is a loss for them. I do wonder what they're going to do. Wardy, Beans, these players are out there. They might well have to target these guys because if they don't, it's like, how do they, you know, you can't really replace Afro, but there's few players that might be able to do that. But there are potentially a couple of targets they could go for to make that happen. Afro, of course, been there a couple of seasons, joining the latter half of the Cold War season. Just wanted to say thank you to the Ravens for the 2 seasons I was there. They've been nothing but great to me. Definitely wasn't how we wanted this year to go, especially with how we started, of course. They were a top 3 team at the start. Then things, of course, the Gismo stuff happened. They kind of fell off a little bit. And Afro's decided his future is brighter elsewhere and probably was offered more money elsewhere. We might see that as time progresses. Bance, they're not really holding back on the fact that these leaks are pretty much guaranteed at this point. Bance at Afro, Intel. Someone get the camera right because they're teaming with Cammy, all this type of stuff. No, like, you look at this and you think, okay, are they just baiting and actually this isn't true, but we're pretty sure it's true that it's going to be Bance, Afro, Cammy, and Attach as the team of 4 over at the Minnesota Rocker side. But yeah, London officially confirming the first part of that. And knowing the timings of this type of stuff lately, by the time I release this video, probably it's all been confirmed, all this type of stuff. But this is a major leak on the day with regard to the format for next season. These dates are, of course, subject to change, but Jacob Hale from Deserto got his eyes on the potential format for next season. Even Ghost of Hope confirms this is legitimate as far as he's concerned. Happy to see an early start. This is, as we currently believe it to be, the days and the dates for next season. So as expected, the season is starting earlier. December 15th through to the 18th is the first event. It's going to be a Pro-Am type event. Then Major 2 is in February, Major 3 March, April, May. Beautiful stuff. 5 majors. Like, the big thing here is starting earlier, right? The fact that it's starting in December is massive, I think, for the league. Capitalize quickly on the momentum. In fact, there's going to be qualifier matches, it seems, happening right at the start of December, which is as good as I think we can realistically hope for. The issue is, though, they've kind of taken some good steps forwards there. There's also no massive breaks. The only big break here in this format is between Major 1 and Major 2, but that's over Christmas and New Year's. That's kind of understandable to take a few weeks off before Call of Duty comes back, of course, for the Major 2 qualifiers. But the big thing I'm sure you guys will notice is, why is Champs here in June? Like, usually Champs, I mean, it used to be in September time, really, and then they brought it back to August, end of August, then it was start of August this year, and now it's not even in July, it's in June. Like what's going on? Why not add 1 or 2 more majors? I feel like a Pro-Am to kick things off in December, plus 5 majors, plus Champs, you know, and then, you know, maybe even 6 majors, right? Who knows? I don't really know what the CDL's obsession is with having so few events per season, because the season is still, according to this, 6 months long. Yes, it starts on the 2nd of December with the first set of qualifiers, and that's pretty good, right? All things considered, to have a set of, you know, a couple of weeks of qualifiers before the Pro-Am tournament, like, that's fantastic. The CDL's kicking off at the start of December. Got to give the CDL a lot of credit for that one. We've been asking for it, and they seem to be finally delivering. There's only pretty much 3 weeks since the start of November where there's nothing going on until the league effectively begins. Now, I don't know, like, what points are on the line here, and of course, the other part of things are, like, of course, yet it's online again, right? Like, the qualifiers are online. Now, there's been talk, okay, who decides this? Is it the CDL? Do the teams want it to be online? I think they do, to a certain extent as well. Pro players aren't going to be so happy about it. I'm sure we might see some reaction in the coming days, but the qualifiers are still going to be online. It's expected, but it's still just rather unfortunate. Now, hopefully, at least, online matches have much less weighting this year, maybe, or like they reduce the points numbers, or still give 10 points for a win online, but just give like 100 points for a tournament victory on land rather than 65 as it was this year, and then kind of weight things accordingly. But the fact of the matter is here that there's no month break, right, which is good. After Major 1, there's a couple of weeks off between over Christmas, New Year. After that, though, the maximum break is 2 weeks between Major 3 and the start of the Major 4 qualifiers. Like, the thing that killed the momentum last season, I think, was that mid-season break. That's not happening. This is all great until you get to June, and then you're like, well, hang on a second, why is the season ending in June? Why are we not going 1 or 2 more times? Now, the reason I imagine this is the case, and like, look, I wouldn't put it past the CDL to do all this right, have champs in June, and then have like a 5-month off season for no reason at all. But I really hope what the CDL are thinking here is that, like, look, Modern Warfare 2 is a 2-year title, right? Like, we can play it for 2 seasons. So what about having champs in June, having maybe a month off or something for Rostermania, have a World Cup or something in August, this is obviously Dreamland, and then like start the season again in September, maybe at the very latest early October, right? And have that season start much earlier. The problem is for me, if they do that, is that then the next year, they would have to then push the league back further for the new title. So yeah, bit concerned here that actually the CDL have taken so many good steps and for some reason are, you know, bringing the season back earlier. Like, why is the season only 6 months? I just don't understand why it can't just be 8 months long with 2 extra majors thrown in here and have champs at the normal time. But maybe they're thinking, like, let's just have, you know, early end of the first season, and then for the second season, start it earlier and have way more events. That, of course, might be optimistic thinking, but that's kind of where we're going to leave it for now. But these are the present rumors as to all the dates. Some people have said this is pretty legitimate. Others have said maybe some things could change. Of course, like, they could still add an extra major, push back champs. It could all happen. But this is the early draft. And if the community feedback is quite strong on why isn't there another tournament, because last season, technically, there was 7 tourneys, right? There was champs plus 4 majors plus the pro and plus the kickoff. That was 7. This season, there's only 6. So effectively, they've gone back in one sense, but there are some positives. So you give credit to the CDL where it's due, but also got to give some criticism as well. So maybe they'll keep improving things further. And Ben with a few ideas here as well on exactly what the idea might be, with even open brackets going on alongside some of the major tourneys. Let's dive into the Los Angeles Guerrillas stuff then, because Arcitys, as he says, I'm Patrick, when I see you at aBeZy, and here he comes, just ready to take out the kids. Arcitys has definitely been letting his thoughts be known on his frustrations with that FaZe camp. I mean, yeah, look at this. Patrick to the kid. This guy's getting taken down. So this is what Arcitys is getting at. But here we go from FaZe, right? What a remarkable state of affairs after 2 seasons on this team. As they say, today we say a heartfelt goodbye to Arcitys. Words cannot describe the value Alec has brought in and out of the game. Thanks for everything. And even, I mean, yeah, look at the dominance they had for quite some time, winning the World Championship last season. And yeah, the champs curse, man, it strikes everyone, even Atlanta FaZe. Even Arcitys says here in the replies, great org, great people. Thanks for treating me from, like, family. But from now on, screw you guys, right? So this guy's coming for blood. He's coming for revenge. He's obviously not happy with the way he was treated internally. We can see that here in a second. Not necessarily by the coaches, by the org, but, you know, by maybe the players, right, and his teammates. That I'm sure there's going to be some good rivalries there. FaZe versus Thieves next season is going to be a banger. So is FaZe versus LAG, most certainly, with Arcitys coming through. The storylines are immense, and this is just adding fuel to the fire. This also, if Arcitys on a real note, thanks to the boys and Paul over at the Atlanta Esports Ventures side for the shot. Like, people are saying Arcitys has been harshly treated here and harshly done by, which is maybe true to an extent, but at the same time, he has, you know, as a main AR, he's been blessed, right, with the opportunity to play with these guys for the last couple of seasons. Like, any main AR would give up their, you know, pinky finger to well, have a shot with these guys, to be honest, and Arcitys has had that for a couple of seasons. They've had their success, but now they are moving on. And some explanations here, actually, from Arcitys, as he describes. I stayed up this morning, honestly, just writing stuff about why I got dropped, wanting to let everyone know. But the best thing I can say is, I think I needed this change they did. So, like, I guess he's saying that the team just needed a change. We weren't a team or squad last year. No trust and no respect, because I'm still trying to figure out why. That's really interesting to me, feeling that the team doesn't even trust or respect him last season. Goes on to say the following, but I know I wasn't even doing my best and I was very uncomfortable, but no excuses. They can blame me for that. I just want recognition, winning or losing. So saying that he reckons the team was blaming him for their results, like for being uncomfortable, and even saying they had no respect towards him. This I thought was quite the statement as well. Playing some days, I questioned if they wanted me, but like I said, it's what everyone needed. I can't wait for this new team, right? So crazy stuff, really. He's saying that, like, look, he thought some days in scrims, these guys wanted to get rid of him. So this kind of implies they've been planning to get rid of Arcitys maybe for quite some time at this point, and obviously have pulled the trigger. Now we've got to this off-season period. Now, speaking of Arcitys, of course, and kind of, like, there's a lot to dive into there, but there's plenty to discuss, and the big news really being that Arcitys has been confirmed to be joining the Los Angeles Guerrillas. This indeed is their roster for 2022 through to 2023, kind of confirming that the season does indeed start later this year in December. Cool font actually as well. I guess they've changed up their, like, logo here, at least the fonts. Like, this looks much better than the old one did. I think that was kind of illegible, but I mean, yeah, they're effectively confirming this team. So I mean, look, it's an interesting squad. I think a lot of people have said it's I mean, look, any team Arcitys goes to, it's going to be a downgrade, right? I do think, honestly, if there is an Arcitys / trade, it can potentially improve both teams. I think that Arcitys can improve these guys. Like, the work ethic, I'm sure, here will be immense. Like, obviously, he's chosen to go to this team for a reason, sees potential, like, and thinks that, you know, he can be a good leader to these guys. And look, he's going to have to do some decent slaying numbers, there's no doubt, given the team that's built around problem here with the inconsistencies that some of these guys have had, but like it is a team with serious potential. Like they've got some great players on here, but I think it's one of the teams that I would have least confidence will actually be like a top 4 team as the season progresses. There's plenty of other teams I would put in that category before I put this team in, but look, Arcitys obviously maybe knows more than us, and he chose to play with this team. Many have kind of questioned that, right? Because Arcitys could have. Now look, maybe the buyout situation complicated things because he had a big buyout from FaZe for 500k, we understand, so not many orgs have the money to pay that. So maybe LAG was one of his few options really because of the money involved, but I'm sure he would have had other options if he wanted to go elsewhere and really try to push for it. But as he said, it's looking good. Excited to play with this team. The potential and the amount of love they showed me in such little time shows how much they wanted me, and they have passion, and they are a unit, and a team is something that I can fill into and do my thing. #lights out. So yeah, nice punctuation there, Alec. But we got through it, I suppose. But yeah, he's talking about the passion that they've got and what he thinks he can get out of them. Even Hook goes on to say, welcome Arcitys to the squad. More hungry than ever with this unit on the team. Excited to get to work. Goes on to say, can't wait to unlock the potential of you guys. For me, he feels like Slasher wasn't unlocking what these guys had to offer. And I mean, look, he obviously has a good eye for these type of players. He believes this team of 3 can be one that he can take back to the top of Call of Duty. And as he says, this is the tweet here that sold it to me. Like Spark tweeted this out on the 15th saying, friendly reminder to Twitter, your team is supposed to be a unit, right? You're meant to be like an actual team, which obviously Arcitys, I suppose, felt like on FaZe. He wasn't really getting that experience, right? And maybe Spark felt like that on Los Angeles Guerrillas as well with the Slasher situation, and therefore they decided, well, look, let's come together and let players that feel kind of excluded from feeling like a team unit and actually do that with each other, right? And as he says, I see all the potential. I'd take a pay cut for any of these guys, which it maybe implies that he has, and you guys will see. And Sparks, Neptune, Hook, let's get it units, right? So quite the statement really here from Nastie saying like, look, this is the team we're going to go for. This is the confidence that he's got, and as he kind of confirms, I'm done with the rants, back to the BS. Hurry, need help spending Guerrillas before I get fined at Guerrillas, right? So like, I mean, yeah, he didn't even quite get it right here. He didn't do the double R, but he'll get it over time. The other thing to mention here from Guerrillas is they go on to confirm this, that Slasher and Asim remain under contract with the organization, and we will assist them to the fullest extent in the coming weeks to find their homes for the next season. Now, Asim, we don't know where he's going to go, if he's going to get bought out at all. Slasher, we think is going to FaZe, and based on his tweets, we theorized that the buyout might have been done, and I think I've heard that the buyout is pretty much done as well. Now, look, Guerrillas are saying that it's actually not done yet, and he still remains under contract, which is kind of interesting whether someone swooped in last minute, right, and Slasher's no longer going to FaZe, but that seems still the most likely possibility, but it is a confirmation here from the Guerrillas, at least from what they say on the matter. So 2 things to mention before we close out here. How good actually is this team, right? Arcitys, Neptune, Spartan, Hook. Like, I mean, look, there is potential, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of difficult to see compared to some of the other teams that this team is immediately going to be a contender. I think they can be. Arcitys can get some good performance out of these guys. Hook at times is like an insane level player, and we've seen what Neptune can do, and we've seen Spark what he can do on occasion, but the inconsistency between these guys is going to be the key force. Can Arcitys get some consistent level of performance out of these guys? And even him individually, can he play at like a Slasher-esque numbers level last season? That seems kind of doubtful. So big questions about this team. I'm not honestly a massive fan, but I do think that Arcitys can get some results from this squad. And I mean, yeah, that's the other question, right? With Arcitys, of course, getting let go by FaZe, like, yeah, is this a massive mistake by FaZe that they will go on to rue as time progresses and feel like they shouldn't have done this? But, of course, that remains to be seen as well. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new as always. Take care, and I'll see you next time.